So, hey, Tom, you wanted to talk about premiums. You have a statement about premiums that you'd like to elaborate on.
Okay, yeah. So we were chatting about this on the way here and last night about premiums and the confusion around it. Obviously, like premiums are just a factor of buying precious metals. Basically, precious metals are priced on paper, and obviously we can't deliver the real thing the same way you can deliver paper. The real thing has to be dug up and moved and smelted and melted and crushed into coins and bars. So there's a cost for that, and that's what the premium reflects. So people often ask about premiums, and I'm always trying to redirect them back to price because we really don't have much control over premiums. They're an industry thing. Each of us add a certain amount. Like, we don't get all the premium as retailers, we get a portion of it, and that's the portion we add that's our necessary operating costs. So there's no way around premiums. So comparing premiums between companies is really kind of silly because premiums are factored into the greater picture, which is price. So you're better to just look at price. So there's that. But then the actual premiums that exist on silver and gold right now, when people sit and figure it out and calculate it, it's a sticking point for them. And again, I want to qualify that no retailer, including us, has any real choice about premiums. So for those of you that are out there, just keep that in mind. But again, what it comes down to is, okay, the premiums are a sticking point. So I don't want to go there. Let's say you're one of those people that are, I just don't want to go there. I can't do that. That's too high of a cost. Okay. So what about the cost of doing nothing? So for anybody who actually believes that our inflation rate is what we're being told, well, I beg to differ. I believe that it's probably more on the order of 20 to 30%, depending on what industry you're in. If you're in the trucking industry, I'm betting it's closer to 30%, or running a cab company or something that's fuel intensive or food intensive, right? Any of those industries have got to be feeling it, right? The inflation rate. So let's assume the inflation rate is a lot higher than it really is. So the choice to do nothing is not really a choice now, because let's assume that you're at the top end of that inflation range at 30%, and you say, okay, I can't accept the 30% premium on silver, so I'm not doing that. And we're starting today, and you hesitate and you say, okay, I'm going to look for an alternative. So I'm going to park my capital and wait. So a year goes by. If it's 30% inflation, at the end of that year of indecision, you're in the same boat that you would have been if you'd have bought silver. Difference being, you don't actually have an asset now, you have a bunch of fiat currency. So what are some of the other, so it's again back to relativism, right? The choice to do nothing is no longer a choice for most people, unless you're an intelligent investor that knows that I'm going to pay a 30% cost on my capital sitting parked doing nothing, knowing that when I deploy it, I have a strategy that's going to make me a lot more and make up for that. If you're one of those people, great. If you're not, the choice to do nothing is not there. But what is the primary? We've been back and forth on this whole housing thing, and housing is really big in the world of finance right now because of what's going on. And so let's compare your home, which everybody has no issue with their home and their mortgage. It's just a given. Yeah, I have a mortgage and da 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 da, and we never question whether that's good or bad or ugly or what, right?
Yeah.
So let's look at a mortgage. What's the actual premium on your home? Your mortgage and the interest is your premium. So I threw a calculator, a mortgage calculator in the chat there. If you click on the chat down at the bottom there and find it. Okay, so now that we got a mortgage calculator, I see you've already got $1 million popped in there. Change the interest rate to 6.6.
Okay.
Nope. Change the amortization period to 30 years. You could probably go to 35 if this one actually has it.
It doesn't.
We'll just do 30, and yeah, the term is 5 years. That's fine. Now calculate. Now again, the reason we're using 6.6 as an interest rate is that for the last 70 years, the average interest rate on a mortgage was 6.6%. Yeah, I know we can argue about all the variances on that, but just for argument's sake, 6.6 was the number that we came up with. So if we go down to the total cost, never mind the term, look at the amortization period, the 360 months. It's $2.278 million. So that's $1,278,000 in interest. I would call that your premium on your house. So you're okay with a 127% premium on your house, but you're not okay with 30% on a different asset. That's mathematically illogical, right? As
Yeah.
we can see. So the problem is that people aren't honest with themselves when they talk about what they pay for the house. You say, what'd you pay for their house? They say, well, I paid 700,000. And I often say, let's go add up your mortgage payments and see what you actually paid, because that's the actual number. And they do it innocently, I'm sure, because, you know, when they sat down and signed all those forms and did all the officiality, that's the number that they came up with. But this is the real number when you factor in all the costs. And this isn't even all the costs. I have a video I'm going to go through that talks about all the additional costs that go into owning a house. And this is without fees. I mean, fees go in there as well, add, you know, $60,000, $80,000 in fees. And I mean, the term that you own the house, you can, you know, what the average upkeep is for a year. This is just monetary. This is strictly monetary. Yeah. So
yeah,
127% premium on the average mortgage. So that's the reality. And people are okay with that. And it's not a judgment call whether it's okay to be okay with that, but it is math and it is real. I mean, anybody can do this and go look at a mortgage calculator for themselves and decide if, you know, they're okay with those numbers, because those are the real numbers. And this is something that's not talked about. And so, you know, back to financial relativism, you know, everything is relative to what's your alternative. You know, I don't want to do this. Okay, well, what's your alternative?
And silver premium is a one-time thing too.
Yeah, you pay it all up front and you're done. It's not a slow trickle over time. I mean, we can argue about whether or not that's good or bad, but it's paid up front and it's done. Like everything with a transaction in metals is settled. There's no debt. There's nothing trailing, nothing lingering. So that's another feature of owning precious metals that is a positive feature, that every transaction that you do is a final, it's settled. In the world of paper, everything is in flux constantly. It's just transferring debt around. This is something we don't fully grasp because we're not taught how our debt-based system works. And it's really just a transference of debts and obligations that never ends. It's an endless loop. Yeah. So anyway, that's something to consider, folks, when you're talking about premiums. I know it's a sticking point for a lot of people, and it's a difficult discussion to breach with people because it's sensitive to people's feelings and stuff. And I get it. This is trying times for people, and people are frustrated and not sure what to do with their money. And so there's a lot of tension around that. So we put these things together to help people get some perspective and to help them think clearer about what their choices are.
Yeah, for sure. And just the spot price, the fact that it's based on the paper market, people don't even understand that. And they don't understand that we don't even get it at spot. Gee, the high end don't even get it at spot.
Not even close.
Not how it works, guys. It's not how it works, right? So,
And that's another message we like to send to people, because I think a lot of people think that our profit is the spread between the spot price and the retail price. And it's not that we're going to talk about what our profit margins are, but you can well imagine it's substantially less than that. And if you've ever owned a gas station or a grocery store, it's about the same profit margins, commodities. Yeah. So for anybody who is bearing that grudge that, oh, those darn dealers are just making too much money, think again.
Yeah.
Obviously a decent business to be in right now, but it has its challenges like anything else.
Yeah, and the whole part about from spot, it's got to be dug up now. That's just the paper market. Now it's got to be dug up all the way to that price. And I love that. So go dig it yourself then, because really, here's
my little joke. I don't want to pay the premiums. Okay, here's a shovel.
Right. Here's a shovel. Yeah.
And really, we're just dealing with things that people don't understand. And I get it. There's no handbook out there. It's not like you can pop into your post office and say, hey, where's the handbook on buying silver? They're not available on counters everywhere when you go. So, and there's a lot of misinformation. People online are telling you things that are, I mean, it's easy to open up a YouTube channel and tell stories that aren't true, just innocently. And some people are ingesting this information and it's just not, it's not accurate, unfortunately. So
Yeah.
we're trying to help people. Like, we're dealers, we're boots on the ground every day, seeing this stuff and what people are doing and what they're talking about. So we're just trying to clear up stuff for people so they can focus on the things that really matter in terms of buying metals and how that fits into their financial life. That's our objective here. I think that covers it. Nice, short and sweet. Probably a little longer than usual today, but that should cover it. Thanks for listening, folks. Have a great day.